by telling us a little bit about this experience with, your recall of the extraterrestrial race living on Mars.
Well, I mean, the insectoid species we engaged with in ground combat on a pretty regular basis. There's a drone member of the species, but you don't see the drone too much in combat. The drone is 5.5 feet tall, about. Now, I've heard people like Simon Parks and other people refer to them as a mantid species, which is fine if people want to call them that. To me, they still look like a giant ant more than anything else. So they've got, a head, thorax, and abdomen, and 6 appendages, 2 up here, 2 in the middle, 2 on the bottom that are primarily used as walking feet. The 2 in the middle are the ones that can be either hands or feet, depending on what they need. If they need more stability or they're carrying something, they might use an extra appendage to hold themselves steady to something or to walk with. Or if they're busy doing something that requires more activity, more digits, as it were, then you'll see them use 3 or 4 hands at the same time, which is pretty interesting that they can just ambidextrously use them as either or. But typically, though, what they do is they genetically engineer other insects to do most of the fighting for them. So most of the time when we engage them in combat, we're not fighting the drones. We're fighting their genetic creations, which are a pretty interesting, varied bunch. They vary from being sort of beetles that are about this size that swarm to beetles that are like the size of a medium-sized dog, which, I mean, you just don't know terrifying until, a swarm of beetles the size of dogs with mandibles, like this big, or stingers.
They had flat pinchers that could cross like that. That's the ones I remember, a beetle like that, and they were big. They were good. Like when you say medium dog, I'm thinking like a big dog. They were a good size, and they fluttered. They had wings that helped them run. They didn't fly, but they flapped their wings to make them run faster.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, some of the beetles are flying beetles. Some of them are just swarming jumpers. But probably the most terrifying creation that they had was this centipede that was close to 20 feet long and had mandibles like a meter wide. So like my arms, outstretched here like a meter. And that thing could grab you and like slice you right in half. Those were no fun. Those were absolutely terrifying. They're big. They would rear up, like that, and then bear down on you with those mandibles. And